2 persons have been confirmed dead, while 2 others have sustained various degrees of injuries in the tanker explosion at a Triabo in the Western region. Beggars and filth take over pavements after AMA stopped hawkers from selling at those areas. And later on in this edition, mango sellers in Somanya cry over post-harvest losses as they lack factories to process fruits. And later in business, fuel prices expected to increase with the opening of the first pricing window in February. We have details of these and many more. Do stay with us. Welcome to the program. Let's go to the Western region where at least 2 people have perished at Boko, a community in the Triabo gas processing company in the region after a tanker truck explosion. According to District Police Commander Superintendent Thomas Bayo, the deceased were identified as Samuel Kenya, a 16-year-old welder apprentice who died on the spot, while Amos Tete, the driver's mate, died at the Ekwe Mission Hospital. The other 2 injured persons have also been identified as Michael Bravo, 26, and Jackson Busumpim, 23, both welders who are currently receiving treatment at the hospital. According to Superintendent Bayo, the driver of the gas tanker, Eklu Agbomega, a resident of Ashaiman with vehicle registration number GN622814, was traveling from Takoradi to the Atuabo gas processing plant when the vehicle developed a fault. In the quest to fix it at the welding shop, the vehicle exploded instantly, killing the apprentice and leaving severe injuries to the others in the process. Bodies of the deceased have been deposited at the Exim Government Hospital morgue for preservation and autopsy, whilst injured persons are receiving treatment at the hospital. Let's go over the phone and speak with Emmanuel Ohinijan, who is our Western Regional Correspondent. Hello, Emmanuel. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. What more can you tell us about this explosion? Hello, Emmanuel. Can you hear me? Hello, Emmanuel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Right. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I was asking what more you could tell us about this gas explosion.
Well, what I can say is that the police are currently holding the driver of the tanker to assist them in their investigation. Currently, they want to find out whether it was through his negligence. That's what. Hello.
We apologize for the sound problems with that phone call. When we get him back, we'll continue with the conversation. But let's go to the Ashanti region, where 4 persons with ammunitions and other weapons have been arrested over the clashes between residents of Ahia and Zongo youth in the Kwabre district of the Ashanti region. Deputy Ashanti Regional Police Commander DCOP Fred Edwenim said 2 of the suspects were carrying pistols, while the other 2 were holding machetes during the scuffle in the early hours of Saturday, February 3. The clashes has caused injuries to dozens of individuals, while properties, including cars, have been destroyed. Residents in the community were forced to lock themselves as a result of the situation. The clashes started after the youth prevented their counterparts from the Zongo community from partaking in the burial celebrations of an 18-year-old lady on Thursday. Let's get some answers. Isaac Bediako is our Ashanti regional correspondent and joins me over the telephone. Hello, Isaac. Thank you for joining me. What is the latest with this development?
Well, so the routing that happened in Ria over the weekend, I can confirm that 7 persons have been arrested. And according to the Ashanti Regional Minister, who is head of Ashanti Regional Security Council, the Regional Security Council will be meeting this morning. But the 7 persons arrested will be arraigned before court today. According to him, because the violent crashes occurred over the weekend, the Regional Security couldn't meet on the matter. And so today they will be receiving official briefings from the security personnel deployed to the community to go and for peace there. And as we speak now, there is total peace in Area community. The residents are going about their normal duties, even though police personnel and military personnel are still stationed within the community. But according to the regional minister, the people who came there to foment the trouble, as in the Zongo communities clashing with the locals there, some of the people who were behind the violent activities came from Abu Abu, and they were invited by their colleagues in the community to come and help them so they could cause commotion in the community. So these are some of the information the security personnel in the region have taken, but then they will receive the official briefings today. So we'll be following up on what will come out from the Regional Security Council meeting.
Isaac, one thing I want to find out from you, has the police been able to explain how these groups came or got these ammunitions?
Well, as it stands now, the police have not given us information to how they got ammunition to, cause commotion in the community. But what we do know is that they were using cutlasses, pickers and shovel in causing those trouble in the community.
All right, thank you very much, Isaac Bediako, and he's our Ashanti regional correspondent. We'll keep an eye on the story and bring you updates as and when in our latest broadcast. But let's do some other stories now. The head of communications at the Food and Drugs Authority, James Latte, has indicated that his outfit has started prosecuting media houses that disregard the directive on the advertisement on alcoholic products from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. James Latte disclosed this at a workshop in Sunyai.
Head of Communications at Food and Drugs Authority, James Latte, indicated the FDA is going to contract a company to monitor TV and radio stations across the country. He said it is not the intention of the FDA to collapse anyone's business, but protecting the future of the country.
Just about 2 weeks ago, I don't want to mention the names of the stations that we found that are flouted. What we did was that we recorded, noted the types, and we wrote letters to them, warning them as a caution letter. Last week, we sent them letters, fining them. Now, trust me, and you see what is going to happen. People that refuse to pay the fine will go to the cell.
Speaking on a ban placed on hydroquinone products, Emmanuel Nkrumah, head of Cosmetics and Household Chemical Substance Department, said the FDA discovered the product has not been totally banned from the country as it's been speculated in a section of the media. Emmanuel Nkrumah further noted that public education programs, media sensitization, product quality monitoring and post-market surveillance to monitor skin lightening products on the market have been intensified.
The FDA is enforcing this standard, but it's not a total ban as it's been going around in certain media outlets. Hydroquinone is not permitted in cosmetic products. However, it will be registered and it will be allowed when one submits application and goes through the necessary procedures or regulatory procedures and is registered as a medicinal product.
Now, 11 AMA task force members of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly were dismissed Thursday, affirming the AMA's stance to sustain their decongestion exercise and keep the city clean. The 11 are said to have been sleeping on the job, extorting money from sacked traders to hawk on pavements and for loitering. De La Michelle observed Friday that the pavements have now been taken over by beggars and refuse after the AMA stopped hawkers and traders from selling at those areas.
People continue to ask whether it's going to be a 9-day wonder. Well, I don't know of that, but you could see the energy that I have. Having walked around for the past 5 or 6 hours on the streets clearly shows that I have the energy, the interest, and the passion for this exercise.
But this is looking like a 9-day wonder. Along the pavements of Circle on Friday morning, some traders could be seen peddling their wares, but disappear as the day grows old. Where the traders used to be, beggars have now taken over, occupying those sections of the pavement. They are certainly competing with heaps of refuse, seen dotting portions of the pavement. How the AMA hopes to stamp the authority is anybody's guess. But on Thursday, they demonstrated their seriousness as 11 of their task force who dared extort bribes from some traders so they could sell on the pavement were given the boot. The 11 are also accused of sleeping on the job and loitering. Public Relations Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, speaking to GH1 News in an interview, expressed satisfaction with the level of compliance by traders to keep the pavements clean and free.
We want to ensure that we sustain it to the latter. So any of the task force guys who are not doing their job well would face the law, just as has happened prior to this exercise. What happened, if you are aware, the mayor himself dismissed some whilst we were moving on our monitoring tour. So it is an indication that we are serious with what we are doing to ensure that there is some form of compliance and discipline.
At least, even though the AMA hasn't achieved 100% success, the pavement Friday looked much more decent than a few months ago. Accra's pavements had become an abode for hawkers who had trooped to Accra seeking greener pastures. They did not only obstruct movement, but also messed up the place. The AMA's decongestion exercise uprooted majority of them, and pedestrians are happy.
Like how the pavements have done. It's so nice. We like it. Nobody's pushing us. We are not getting any problem. Once more, no, no, a bad trouble, a cabinet one who then in Biano Cadibicome, she'll pay a quahin, a canska, or Banafia, go and can only buy your trouble. Yet, bell, last could be where Lolly Town nature.
I was interested to know what happened to the goods seized from the earlier exercise. Gilbert Ni Ankra said the perishable ones find their way to the Osu Children's Home.
With the perishable goods, they are not returnable. But with those other goods, let's say clothes and those ones, you come to the assembly, you identify your goods, it will be valued, and then you pay a fine for that very stuff. Then you'll be giving back your goods.
The decongestion exercise is expected to hit a market near you. Talk of Kaneshi Market, N1 Highway La Paz intersection, and even Choco.
Mango sellers at Ogome Somanya in the Yilo Krobo municipality want government to set up a processing plant in the district. It follows the huge post-harvest losses of mangoes during peak seasons. Mango business is booming on the Somanya roadside, but with a high risk. William Evans Inkum has the rest of the story.
Analysts attribute this to the constant rise in crude oil prices, which is currently selling at $69 per barrel on the international market. Finished product.
Mango is one of the most popular fruits on the Ghanaian markets. The taste for the tropical fruits is high. On the main Somenya Road, 2 types of the mango species are found here: the Kent and the Mangifera, also known as the Saloon. The demand for mangoes have created employment for a section of the Ghanaian public. Gifty is barely 3 months old in the business. She tells me she began with a startup capital of 900 cedis, but in a space of 2 months, she has lost 200 cedis. 2 days ago, she disposed of a full bucket of rotten mangoes. So the mango business is booming here at Somenya, but the business risk is also high because the tropical fruit is a perishable one. She is in a depth of despair because her only hope rests in the direct consumers, but even that is not assured.
Ebi wa hwa asanyame be mu yebetimi ato anyame be ma ya nya yesika no ahye no ebi nso asamarket na nkoyia unnya ba obenya kakra ba asamarket no ekoyia obetimi aton anya mfaso.
The one district one factory policy is likely to be the solution to Gifty's business plight. I met the municipal chief executive of the Yilokrobo municipality to find out if a mango processing factory is on the government agenda.
Under the one district one factory, we have received 2 proposals. One is going to use the mango to produce powder, mango powder. One is turning it into chips. They brought the proposal, the technical committee in my assembly studied it, and we sent to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and it has been approved.
With no clear sight in when a mango processing factory will be established in Ogome, Somenya, Gifty and her business mates will have to adjust to post-harvest losses for some more years. William Evans Inkum, GH1 News, Ogome, Somenya.
Let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. And in business this morning, fuel prices are expected to increase with the first opening of the first pricing window in February. Some petroleum analysts believe prices could go up between 2 to 3%. Crude oil prices on the world market shot up to $70 last week before rebounding to $69 on Monday.
Analysts attribute this to the constant rise in crude oil prices, which is currently selling at $69 per barrel on the international market. Finished products including gasoline and gas oil prices have also gone up on the international market, and this is likely to reflect at the local pump station with the opening of the new pricing window. Currently, a litre of petrol and diesel is selling around 4 cedis 62 pesos at some major fuel stations, a move analysts fear could trigger a rise in consumer inflation. GH1 Business engaged principal research analyst with the Institute of Energy Security, Richmond Roxon, on any possibilities of government interventions.
There's this component, price build-up, that's price stabilization and recovery levy in the price build-up. And that price stabilization and recovery levy is meant to stabilize or standardize price when prices are going up. On each gasoline you buy, you pay 12 pesos. On gas oil, you pay 10 pesos. On LPG, you pay 10 pesos. So as at when government feels it wants to intervene, it reduces the price. That's the price stabilization, reduces it so that will capture or that will take care of the increase that is supposed to happen on the market. So yes, we're expecting the government to be able to tweak the price stabilization margin so that it can absorb the cost in this particular window.
We question if the time was up for government to scrap the special petroleum tax to help ease the burden on consumers.
It is important that the reason why you introduce a special petroleum tax, since it's been dealt with, should be taken off to give consumers some respite. If that is taken off, that's as of now is around 54 to 60 pesos. If that is taken off, you can imagine the impact that it will have on pricing. As of now, prices are averagely 4.63 per litre on the market. If you are taking between 54 and 60 pesos, that means you are coming around 4 cedis, which is really significant for consumers.
The U.S. has imposed sanctions against people and businesses in Sierra Leone, Ghana and Lebanon over the alleged links to Hezbollah. The 6 individuals and 7 businesses affected are believed to be employed and owned by Adam Tabaja, one of Hezbollah's most senior financiers. They are now subject to trade bans and asset freezes as part of the first of a series of U.S. sanctions against the Lebanese Islamist militant group. The Trump administration feels former President Barack Obama was too soft on Hezbollah because he didn't want to worsen relations with Iran, which supports the group. Speaking anonymously to news agency AFP, a senior administration official said today will be a very bad day for Mr. Tabaja. The financier is thought to operate across the Middle East and Africa, raising funds for Hezbollah. Let's take a quick breather. When we come back, we continue with the rest of our stories. Welcome back from the break. This is GH Today News and my name is Sewa Amihe. Now let's go back to our earlier story where the FDA has identified some media houses that are going against the ban on advertisement on alcoholic beverages between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. James Latte joins me over the telephone and he's the head of communications at the FDA. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us on GH Today News. Now, which media houses have you identified to be flouting these bans?
Yeah, thank you very much. For the names, I wouldn't like to put the names out. I think that will not be fair. But there are a couple of stations in Accra so far that we've noted to be flouting the direction.
Can you give me the number at least?
Come again?
Can you give me the numbers at least?
So far we have about 8 different stations that we've noted. And most of them are
where are these media houses located? Accra, Kumasi?
I'm saying so far they are all within Accra. We are now compiling the list for the regions.
Right. Have you?
So we've gotten there. We are now compiling. Yes.
Have you served them notice yet?
Yeah. What we did was that initially, when we brought out the directive, those that flouted, we sent them a caution letter, asking them not to repeat it. Otherwise, you are going to take sanction against them.
Right.
So the current people that we are sanctioning now are persons that we initially gave a caution to. They didn't listen to it. They went ahead to advertise, and then we gave them a sanction letter.
Right. So when are the court proceedings beginning, if you have any idea?
Per the sanction letter, what happens is this. You are asked to pay a fine, what we call an administrative fine, as per Section 148 of the Public Health Act. If you don't pay the administrative fine, it is then that the police will take over and it will go into the court issue.
But how much is this fine we're looking at?
The fine is 2,500 penalty unit. And one penalty unit is 12 Ghana cedis. So that makes it 30,000 Ghana cedis. And let me explain. That has to do with an offense when it comes to going against a guideline, FDA guideline. But when it is something that has to do with an offense within the law itself, the punitive measure, the sanction is different. That one goes for 7,500 penalty units. That's the minimum. But for a guideline, what you are asked to pay is 2,500 Ghana cedis and 2,500 penalty units, which when you calculate comes to 30,000 Ghana cedis. And in default, what the law says is that you'll be jailed for a period of 5 years in addition to the payment of the fine.
How much time do these media houses have to pay these fines you talk about?
How long do they have?
Yes, how much time do they have to pay these fines before they are prosecuted?
When you are written to, normally you are told that you are supposed to pay these fines then within a week or two. If the FDA do not hear from you or you do not respond, it is saying that a case is handed over to the police for further investigation.
All right. Thank you very much, James Latta. He's the head of communications at the FDA. I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon. Let's now do some international news where South African President Jacob Zuma is undergoing pressure to step down following talks with senior members of his ANC party on Sunday. Details of the talks were not revealed, but party leaders are to hold an emergency meeting today. Mr. Zuma, who faces corruption allegations, was replaced as ANC leader by Cyril Ramaphosa in December. Analysts say party chiefs want to avoid a power struggle that could split the ANC before elections next year. They are expected to begin the process to remove President Zuma through a formal recall or by introducing a motion in Parliament. Mr. Zuma is not due to leave office until the 2019 elections. However, the ANC has seen its popularity fall during his second term amid a weakening economy and claims of corruption. The president has been beset by a series of corruption allegations but denies any wrongdoing. Let's bring you our other update now. And that's it for GH Today News. My name is Sewami here. The news team is back at 11:30 with more news. Thank you very much for watching. The show continues with Beiswa and Kafwide. Have a good morning.
Hi. Hey, yes, thank you very much, Sewa. And she brought you the news this morning. Today's the 5th of February 2018. Yeah, 5 days into the new month.
And 2 days into our 14th wedding anniversary.
Yes, indeed, which is on Wednesday. Thank you for reminding me.
Not us. Him and Dr. Day, who's watching now. Good morning, Dr. Day. All right.
Yeah. Good morning to all of you.
I got somebody.
Yeah, my name is King Kafui Day. This is Queen B. She's naughty. I wonder what you did over the weekend. Well, my weekend was busy.
Oh, I know. Really, Tell me about it.
So on Saturday, I had 3 different pocket squares, 3 different colors of socks. Because I didn't want to go keep changing my outfit. So early morning, 7 o'clock, I got to Francis Aban's father's funeral at the police training school. And my pocket square was red with black and red socks. And then at 9 o'clock, I had to go and give a talk at the Octagon. So I changed the pocket square. It became a kente-ish one with some kente socks. And then at 1 o'clock, I had to go for a wedding. And they said their color was purple, no, lilac. There's no lavender, gold, and white. Well, my outfit was brown, but I had a lavender pocket square. So I put that on, changed my socks. and 3 events one day, no change of outfit.
And then what happened in the
evening? I went to the Batakari Festival. Wiyala was there, Atongo Zimba was there, King Ayisoba was there, a Russian rapper, somebody who is a Catalan but lives in Holland. It was just a great music event. Thanks to Panji for making me a special guest there. So
what a busy week.
It was a busy Saturday.
And yesterday?
Yesterday,
more relaxing.
Yeah, okay. Family funeral meeting. One of my cousins, one of my in-laws passed away, so we had to go for a meeting. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean.
And yours?
Well, I was at Francis's dad's funeral, and then what? And the rest of the day, I think I spent the rest of the day with the kids. They had some swimming lessons that they wouldn't have forgiven me if I